What is up, guys? I am your host, Karel, and this is King of the Hill. Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Kevin and today we are back with another video on the King of the Hill channel, and today we are looking at a series between TuttleFamily on the left side and Smurfblade on the right side. I saw this one in the submission and I was like, I haven't seen Tuttle in such a long while, and Tuttle submitted quite a lot of series and I think this might be very promising for us, so let's get right into this. We can see that Tuttle is sending a bit of a weird kind of start with his eco. He's going for a couple of reds, then blues, then reds, and then more space blues. And Tuttle being a nice guy is what Smurf says. Smurf's gonna leak to this because it's very difficult to actually micro your mortar efficiently when you do the farm start, and especially when you don't get up that ninja, what we saw in that series of L5 versus Dodo. Smurf is exactly doing the opposite. He's starting off with his farm and that's causing him actually to leak down to 115 lives. That's quite a chunk of lives. And Smurfblade has his ninja 2-1. Smurf is starting off with a couple of blues and then he's going to go for pinks, but Tuttle gets up his ninja instantly, so he's gonna be fine. He micros his mortar on top of the fruit balloons, and at the same time he is sending pink balloons at Smurfblade, and Smurfblade is leaking quite a lot of lives right here. He's leaking down to 83. Is he gonna leak even more because Tuttle is persisting with these pinks? Yes, he's leaking even more, but honestly the leaks at this point are kinda irrelevant. Looks like Smurf going for a second farm. Good job, Smurf, because you need those farms. But obviously I would recommend Smurf to not get too low on lives, because then he will have to over defend for the mid-game rushes. And Smurf complaining about Tuttle sending a lot of pinks, and honestly good play by Tuttle because he gets Smurf down to 61 lives, and that's 60 even, and that's gonna cause Smurf to have a huge disadvantage in the mid game. So what you can see is Tuttle, he got a ninja at the very start targeting strong for the black balloons. So what happens here is that ninja is popping the black layers, and then the mortar pops the pink layers and then also burns them. So usually this is a good strat if your mortar is able to actually burn all of the pink balloons, because otherwise speedy pinks will pass by your burning stuff, and that's going to cause even more problems than that ninja actually solves. So old spot, actually the classic Tuttle spot. Really cool one, and it's still sort of viable. But there's gonna be a rush by Smurfblade, and it's gonna be region yellows, and Tuttle actually had to sell his 2-1 ninja to get up that glaive ricochet. The glaive ricochet is chasing, and Tuttle now got up his 2-1 ninja. He's leaking a lot of lives, and he is still not upgrading the ninja to 3-1 to double shot, and Smurf stopped sending because now Tuttle is countering with yellows, and it wasn't enough because Smurfblade didn't need to get his ricochet. Now there's gonna be region whites sent at Tuttle or at Smurfblade, and Smurfblade got up that ricochet and Tuttle stopped sending at exactly at point. So we have very low lives. We have a ninja in a very awkward spot for Tuttle. This is gonna be region lead sent by Smurfblade, and what's it gonna do? Tuttle got up accuracy on his mortar. There's gonna be region zebras. Tuttle is also sending region zebras, but Smurfblade has farms, so that's not a good decision. Tuttle is actually holding off fairly well with that very awkwardly placed ninja. This is gonna be an all-in camo exploit, but it's not really efficient. Tuttle, no Tuttle, why? Oh my god, Tuttle got his mortar, his signal flare up just a bit too late right there, because I thought, because those camo pings were actually spaced, because Smurfblade wasn't quite fast enough with his micro to send a constant stream of camo pings, and I thought Tuttle would have gotten up his mortar and then easily defended that, and maybe sell one of his boomerangs to defend that and get up an extra ninja, but he didn't and died. And yeah, that's really unfortunate. That's all I really can say about what happened on that Hydro game. And then now we're looking at an old school Mondrian game, and ladies and gentlemen, that's so freaking enjoyable. I'm not gonna lie, you can see that both players starting off with different ninja spots, and also went for that spaced blue layering to get some leaks. It's very old school. And so first of all, about the ninja spots. The ninja spot Smurf has is not good for round 4, it's better for round 1. And for round 4 you need to get up a Seeking Shuriken, but once you get it up, it's actually a fairly good spot. So Tuttle got up his ninja, and oh, that bomb whiffed 3 times in a row. What the hell? But 4 times, 4 whiffs. Wow. That's gonna cause Tuttle to leak a shit ton of lives. But what I wanted to say about Tuttle's ninja spot is that Tuttle, it's less efficient against layering if Smurfblade is going for a couple of blues and then he's going for pinks, then that ninja is not gonna do a whole lot. But against constant, if it's actually not whiffing, it can do a very good job. Usually you want to put it on close, because it might whiff more when it is targeting the strongest balloon. And Smurf at this point is also leaking quite a lot of lives. And the layering looks like to be efficient, but I'm not too sure if it really is. Tuttle actually getting up a 3rd ninja because he's kinda low on lives, and because Smurfblade actually got up the O2 ninja that's Seeking Shurikens, I think that they are both going for tech, but we will have to see. Might be a late farm, especially nowadays. I would say that the late farm is a bit better, because pure farming is kinda devilish, because your opponent can send quite a lot of eco balloons, which are difficult to defend when you have to also pay attention to the AI balloons. So Tuttle holding down to waiting to place a 4th ninja. He just placed his 4th ninja and is not looking good. Smurfblade is being kind of greedy. He is sacrificing lives in order to maintain high eco. And now Smurfblade even got a 2nd ninja at the bottom. And Tuttle is going to go for these region black balloons, and honestly I don't know if I agree with that. Smurfblade decides to get up a 2-1 ninja, which should be totally fine defending this, especially with just 2 0-0 ninjas at the very bottom. Yeah, good rush by Tuttle, forcing Smurfblade to get more defense, so stopping him being greedy. And now things are starting to get interesting. Tuttle already got his ninja up at the very top, which you usually want to have for the AI balloons around 10 and 11. So he got up his ninja a bit early, and so far what I absolutely love about Tuttle, and actually about both players, is that they go for a lot of crazy rushes, which results in low eco, and that makes it so much more interesting to watch. It makes it much more interactive. And here we go again. Tuttle is going for region zebras, and it looks like Smurfblade is completely fine with the Bernie stuff. He actually annihilated that. Only the AI got through, because there's 2 ninjas and then a Barney stuff Yeah, absolutely awesome. Smurfblade has a bigger blast, whereas Tuttle only has the smaller blast right here. Honestly, it's not really necessary to get bigger blast against Eco, especially because, oh, there's gonna be a lead send, and I'm not sure why. Tuttle is also sending lab balloons. They both showed the attack shooter, but because I wanted to say, oh, Tuttle is microing his mortar for the AI, and Smurfblade does the same. And it looks like, even though they both persisted with kinda aggressive eco, no problems occurred. Tuttle got up his ring of fire, and it looks like, oh, Smurfblade is still microing his mortar, trying to be greedy, but now got up his ring of fire, and now it's looking quite even. So what I wanted to say is, if either player would go for some kind of all-out camo pink brush, there are already a couple of OO ninjas which should do fine against a lot of the camo pinks, so therefore I think a small blast suffices to defend a lot of the balloons, rushes being sent. Turtle has his top ninja targeting first, it looks like. That's kind of strange, but I think whatever floats your boat, man. At this point, not really a lot is going on. I don't think Tuttle sent a lot of eco, but I might be mistaken right here. Smurfblade microing his mortar for the AI lads. Always pay attention to that. Usually you can either exploit that as your opponent, and for yourself microing your mortar is kinda good. Because whenever you micro your mortar, yeah, it makes the defending AI a lot easier, because usually the lads can actually result in leaks. Another thing about this is that it is old school, so we will probably not see efficient maelstrom use, and most players are probably going to annihilate the entire Moab and then try to defend it with like a jitsu or some sort of thing. Oh my god, do I actually remember this? Because I saw some banter in the chat where somebody said, if we both send a Moab and we both know I've lost, are we going to draw? I've actually think that I saw some sort of thing once of Tuttle and Smurfblade, but I suppose it was not this game. Oh my god, there's gonna be a Moab. How is Smurfblade going to react to that? The Moab is being sent. There's no Mauler yet. The Mauler is there now. The Moab is being broken very quickly. The AI is interfering. It's a region Moab. Please, Smurfblade, don't die to that. Smurf, what have you done? He defended at no life, lost like a boss. And how? Like, what? Oh my god, Smurfblade leaked to the AI balloons, of all things. Now, but what I wanted to say about that is, I think that it was some sort of ping difference, that he got up his Mauler way earlier, and that actually, with microing his mortar, he was able to distract most of the balloons with his 3-2 ninja double shot, and then the ring of fire was enough to clean it up. So Tuttle is going for another rush, which is camo ceramics, because that's a really good rush. There's also going to be sent camo ceramics by Smurfblade. Smurfblade defended the camo ceramics, and Tuttle also defended them, but they both leaked lives. No, Smurfblade didn't leak any lives, but Tuttle did, and now Tuttle is down in lives. And honestly, because they both send so many rushes, it's not really relevant at all for late game who's up on lives, because the person with more eco is clearly gonna win this, in my opinion, because you can always counter if necessary. So the round 33 Moab comes, and we can still see there's no Maelstroms being used. Normally you would only get one Mauler and then a Maelstrom, but you can see Tuttle microing his mortar, Smurfblade microing his mortar, and Smurfblade died to that AI Moab. That's really unfortunate. Yeah, it's always kind of sad when you have to commentate and then you have such a crazy game and one of the players actually dies to the AI balloons. Yeah, and especially a Moab. I mean, this is why people have moved on to Maelstroms. It's just way more reliable, and also way more cost efficient, because the thing is, if you have to rely on your Ring of Fires and all of your balloon popping power to actually get rid of the ceramics, then you need to pop the Moab in time. And to pop the Moab in time, you need to invest also a lot of money into Maulers, into Moab popping power, while the Maelstrom itself can take care of the ceramics on its own. So that's brilliant. You can use it late. And the third more beneficial thing of the Maelstrom is it can also do a lot of damage to the Moab. So enough of Mondrian. It's 1-1. Is it 1-1 though? I forgot to can score. Yes, Smurfblade died on Mondrian and Tuttle died on Hydra. Yeah, this is 1-1. And then now we are playing on Swamp. And honestly, I am not too excited about Swamp, because Swamp in the old days was, how do you say that, a bit, yeah, I have no clue how to say it. It's just easy to know I've lost it. This was really a standard draw in the old days. While right now I would argue that it's not really a draw map, because obviously both players have probably both 150 lives, but the most important thing is trying to get the farm lead, because if you have the farm lead, then you can harass your opponent with ZMGs, drain them, and because there's not a lot of space for farms here, you will most likely have low farms late game, and therefore the person with the best farms late game. Okay, are there gonna be some leaks actually? Because it looks like that Tuttle plays down a boomerang to catch that leak, but it wasn't enough. And okay, I will talk about late game a bit later. But oh, Tuttle is even leaking more life. So what I wanted to say is Tuttle got his ninja behind the trunk, and I would personally prefer to put my ninja next to my cluster bomb like Smurfblade did. It's usually with the classic red black layering, it will easily pop the balloons, and then get a second ninja close to that. I think Smurf spot is good enough. It's not looking good for Smurfblade. Is he gonna leak? Because both of his ninjas are targeting first, and Smurfblade actually leaked to that. So whoa, Smurfblade leaked down to 142 lives, and I was not expecting that. Smurfblade is going for farms, whereas Tuttle still going for a balloon eco, and it is round 9, so I'm not sure. Tuttle hasn't showed his 4th tower yet either. My remarks about this. Oh, there's gonna be a rush by Smurfblade and it's regen lads, and Tuttle now has to micro his mortar. And is Smurfblade gonna persist? He is going to persist with these regen zebras. We can see that Tuttle is showing his 4th tower, which is a boomerang. He actually did it way earlier, but I forgot. Apologize. And yeah, this is just a freaking solid strategy for round 13 with only a ricochet and 1 cluster bomb. You can easily defend. You can also have a smaller blast. It's not really anything special. There is only one thing I want to say, and that is that for round 6 I would recommend getting up your first ninja in the spot next to your cluster bomb, and then the second ninja very close to, not next to your OO ninja next to the cluster bomb, but a bit farther away, maybe in the middle of the circle, for example. But put them close together so they certainly don't bypass. When they bypass your first ninja, they are easily caught by the second ninja, because there's now a lot of time between the first and the second ninja before the blacks will be popped. So Tuttle and Smurfblade, it's round 16 and Smurfblade got a bigger blast and he got a second cluster. And what Smurfblade has, he has 2 OO ninjas. He has a distraction ninja, and I don't know if you paid attention to it. Oh, look at his ninja, because he placed it at a place where his OO ninja barely hit the track. And then when he got up that monkey knowledge, you can see that his ninja is barely hitting that AI track. And I think that's actually the perfect placement if we are talking about round 18 and round 15 rushes, because when the ceramics make it past the first sort of curve, and your ninja, its seek and shuriken will go more through the ceramics with a sort of natural flow, which makes it just way better. It's just a bit of feeling, you have to get feeling for it, but I would say try it out yourself. You will see that this ninja spot is usually better than when a ninja is pushed onto the to the tracks. That's how I personally experience my ninjas. And Smurfblade got up his banana research facility on round 18. It's very old school, and that's what I love to see. Usually it's not really that meta anymore, because you can send a Moab and they will need to sell a lot of farms, a lot of defense, and yeah, that's honestly what I have to say about that. There's not really anything special going on at this point. Smurfblade has his Republic ready, which means that I think he is gonna go for a second BRF quite soon. Tuttle still persisting with these eco balloons. It's round 22, and that is where one of the weaknesses of the boomerang strat kick in, because region BFBs and also ZMGs can be kind of problematic. For mainly the region BFBs cause huge problems. Smurfblade got his second banana research facility nicely on round 22, so he got a good amount of good amount of crates out of it. Smurfblade is microing his mortar, his balloon impact is targeting the AI balloons, and that causes some perfect circle which catches all of the balloons. No, not all of the balloons apparently, because Smurfblade leaked a couple of lives, but most of them. And I don't know who paid attention to Tuttle's side, because what I saw was a perfect Bloons TD with 2 maulers taking care of that mob very easily. Now for round 33 and 25, it doesn't really matter where you put your mauler, because there are no other AI balloons which interfere with the mauler's range, if you get what I mean. But a bit later you want your mauler to be in a spot where its blast will almost always hit the Moab, and I would put it more towards the left of the middle ninja of Tuttle for round 26 and 27, and his Bloons TD is again doing a really good job. Smurfblade still microing his mortar, and it looks like he got that Moab just fine. He even got up a third banana research facility, and here is, does Smurfblade? No, Smurfblade does have the fragments. Now what you can see is, if Tuttle persisted with these eco balloons, then his models wouldn't be able to reach out to the Moab once it's near his cluster bomb at the top. And now we have round 26. Things are getting more interesting, because you can see the double Moab and balloons being in the way. Tuttle has actually 3 Maulers and the Bloons TD. You can see that this Bloons TD is not distracting all of the balloons, but he does have that impact and a ricochet, so Tuttle is fine. Smurfblade also has a third Mauler. He's even leaking more lives at this point. I don't know why Smurfblade doesn't have a Bloons TD or anything like that, because he really needs that. Round 27 is gonna be very dangerous. Smurfblade gets up as 4 BRF, and we can see things are getting very dangerous. It's the 3-code death round, so please pay attention to that Smurfblade. Smurfblade microing his mortars, trying to burn all of the ceramics. I think he burned them all, and he got up a Bloons TD. There's no balloons now, so the Bloons TD should be able to clean it up sort of nicely. And it did. If I was Smurfblade, I would get up my 5th BRF as soon as possible by selling my Bloons TD at this point. Or maybe sell a Mauler, that's also a possibility. At least try to get up that those 6 BRFs as soon as possible, because you need a beefy, interesting Skype call, because you need a beefy late game rush. I have not really been paying attention to how much eco Tuttle has been sending, and there's another Skype call. Nice. One thing is that Swamp is kind of short, which means that you don't really have a lot of eco, a lot of anti-stall. Smurfblade having his 5th BRF, I want to see his 6th BRF at least before round 21 to 31. Yeah, but for late game in terms of defense, it's kind of an uneasy map, because you can actually go for a lot of Maulers in the center, which target most, if not all, of these UMGs at the same time. And the track is very long, obviously that also helps. Smurfblade already got up his BRF. I'm checking WhatsApp, 1 sec. Okay. Because I had sort of plans to watch football with friends tonight, but yeah. So yeah, what Smurfblade did is actually what I love to see. You go for your 6th BRF, you go for a Sabotage Planets, and you assassin the BFB, and then you are gonna be set. You're definitely gonna be set. So what Tuttle did is he got up a 2nd Bloon Impact, and honestly I don't really know why. Usually if you have enough bloon popping, usually if you spam Maulers enough, you also have enough popping power, so it's not really necessary to go for Bloon Impacts. The Bloon Impacts are also not really helpful when you're going for Mortar Stalls, because if you do not know yet, if you go for Mortar Stall, you apply a stun to the balloons for usually 6 seconds. But when another stall then targets the balloon, that new stall effect overrides the old stall effect. So for example, if you stall that balloon for 6 seconds, but your Bloon Impact then hits that balloon, and the Bloon Impact effect of stalling is only 3 seconds, the balloon will only be stalled for 3 seconds. So this is especially chaotic past round 35, where balloons turn into super ceramics. So it's really something you should be paying attention to. Also a kind of miscalculation sort of by Tuttle, going for a ninja Sabotage Planets in a spot where I think he should be putting it more towards the middle. And yeah, so I have one little tip though. Remember what I just said about these stalls, about why I don't like Bloon Impacts. The total opposite is true for Sabotage Planets, because I think that stall effect is also 6 seconds. So if you stall a balloon and then override it with Sabo, it's not really an issue, because yeah, the stall effect is even, it is just low. How do you say that? We call it verlengen in Dutch. An extend. It's going to extend the period without and not lowering it. So here we go. We're gonna see Tuttle going for more and more Maulers. It's starting to get a bit laggy, and I would have expected Smurfblade to go for his rush on round 33, but he is not yet. Indeed, Smurfblade needs to rush because he's lower in lives, and I don't know how many of these kind of late games we have seen because on the King of the Hill channel, but I really like late game personally. And I also like commentating about it because I think that I've quite a lot of experience with late game that can give quite a good amount of tips. One already given about the stall. Yeah, personally, what I would like to see is a couple of Bloons TD being spread all across the map. And there we go, the rush is going to start right now. So what Tuttle also needs to do is he needs to sabotage it, and then sabotage every 15 seconds. Be efficient with your stalls. So I quickly want to mention, spread your Bloons TD ninjas across the map, because sometimes when you break down a CMG, the super ceramics come out and your maulers will actually target the first balloon, and they will whiff a lot because of super ceramics. So what you want to do is distract the super ceramics as much as possible. You want to break them down as soon as possible, and therefore I would spread my ninjas a bit across the map. Same with my sabotage supply lines, so you can get rid of the super ceramics as soon as possible without your maulers chasing the whole time. So that's it for the Bloons TD, that's it for the store. If you do not know yet, but I think it's told quite a lot of times, you have to go with your maulers on first for late game because of the flash targeting of strong. Strong means it will target the blimp with the highest amount of health. And it looks like Tuttle is not setting up his 4 ninjas to go for permanent stall, which I think is a mistake, because if you get a Sabo, if you get glitched BFBs or CMGs, you have problems. Tuttle went for another sabotage. I personally like selling and buying Sabo. It's also more efficient if you have to start doing that from around 35 onwards. I can't see, and I would definitely get all of my maulers on with frag bombs, because it does a lot of the extra damage. And we can see the first ZMG is almost broken down. It's kind of laggy still. Smurfblade, Tuttle getting more ninjas. Smurfblade still having all of his BRFs. The King of the Hill chat is again calling, and Smurfblade, Tuttle is now closing his Skype. He's going for another ninja, sabotage supply lines. Is he going to activate ability, because he hasn't done that yet? What are you doing, Tuttle? You need to sabo, because those BFBs are, a couple of them are fast, and you can correct it now if you're going for a sabo, so please do it. Do it, please. It looks like he's trying to be efficient, and on the other hand, I see a gap of CMGs, so that's I think Smurfblade doesn't want to sell farms, but especially for long maps like these, I would definitely recommend to sell just farms and try to get a rush which is as tight as possible. The BFBs are still not broken down. Tuttle deciding not to mortar stall yet, which I do agree on. He is going for a mortar stall now, but it was not on all the mobs. Some of the mobs were still BFBs when he used mortar stall, so they are gonna move very quickly, I suppose. Yeah, they see some of the mobs are already moving, and that's because he went for the mortar stall just a bit too early. And also pay attention to your sabotage supply lines. Tuttle went for one already, but his old one didn't even run out yet. So I'm not sure why he has done that. He definitely needs a couple more maulers, I would say. And here's what I meant. You can see that the ceramics are getting pretty far, and the maulers aren't efficient against super ceramics. So this is really why you need to spread your Bloons TD ninjas, because now this is going to cause quite a lot of chaos and cause a couple of maulers to be blocked, and that's not what you want, because it's not efficient. Tuttle going for even more mortar stalls, but the BFBs are not broken down. He definitely needs more maulers so he can more easily break down those CMGs and especially BFB layers. He tries to afford a sabotage supply lines, but it looks like he does not have enough money. He's waiting to go for that stall, but you can clearly see the amount of maulers Tuttle has is not enough. the late game BFBs and ZMGs are kind of bulky, especially when they come out on round 37. So you need to pay attention to that. And I think that most of the maulers are actually targeting the strongest balloon, which is also not a good thing for Tuttle, because you want all of your maulers to target those BFBs, because the quicker you break down the BFBs and into Moabs, the more efficient you can be with your mortar stalls. Tuttle going for another sabotage supply lines, and then going for more mortar stalls. You can once again see that those ceramics are in the way at the bottom. Tuttle not being efficient at all on his mortar stalls. Needs to go for quite a lot. He's selling a couple of his maulers, and it looks like the balloons are getting pretty far. He has a couple of balloons just in the back, but the balloons are mostly distracted by the blimps, and it looks like they are not able to actually target the balloons. You can see Tuttle is struggling quite a lot, and it's not even near the end of round 37 yet. Yeah, at this point Tuttle should have definitely sold his balloon impacts. They are not doing a lot, and he can get a nice amount of money out of it. You can see the round 37 BFB is just kicking in, which means that we have at least another 2 minutes to go. And yeah, this is not looking good for Tuttle. One of the BFBs is pretty far, but the round 37 BFBs are pushing through. Smurfblade sold already 2 BRFs, but has definitely enough BRFs to go for a packed rush until round 40 at this point. So that's good. This is going to be pretty beefy, and honestly, the ZMG sent at this point are not going to make it to the end before round 40. So Tuttle needs to take at least 6 more ZMGs down in order to make it to round 40. And the question is he able to do that? That's just my sole analysis. He might even be fine if he only breaks down 5, but let's see. He already broke down 1, and the second one, it looks like it's going to be broken down relatively soon as well. But Tuttle, he looks like he's going to die to these balloons. They are pretty far at the end, and I have not paid attention to if he actually paid attention to his sabotage timing. If you don't do your sabotage timing correctly, then round 37 is definitely a round where you are going to see a lot of glitches. This is one of the main rounds where you definitely want to be rather safe than sorry, and sabotage before it runs out definitely. And we see that the connection to the server, so it's not looking good for the connection of Tuttle or Smurfblade. I think Tuttle is going to be in a bad position. Smurfblade says it's so easy, but it definitely isn't looking easy for Smurfblade or for Tuttle at all, because he's mortar stalling like a madman. He's slowly selling his... Whoa, what's happening? He is slowly selling more and more of his maulers, and at this point I would say selling your maulers is a good decision. You don't really want to break down more of these UMGs at this point. What you want to do is you want to break down maybe those couple more BFBs and defend the contents, and then what you want to do is just play it out. Just go for defend the ceramics of round 38 and 39, and then just drag it to round 40, because there might be a chance that those UMGs are not gonna make it to round 40. Maybe I was just too how do you call it, opportunistic. You can see that yeah, I said he needed to defend like 6 UMGs. He broke down probably 2, and he still has to break down 4 more, but I don't think those are gonna make it to the end at all. So this is really gonna be a part where we are going to look at if Tuttle is going to be able to defend AI till the end, because you can see Smurfblade actually not selling any farms, and there's a little gap between these UMGs, but obviously Tuttle's biggest worries at this point are just defending AI, not really the rush. This is just going to go through kind of easily if there was no ending round. Around 39 actually just popped. We have a lot. I cannot see how much more defense Tuttle has to sell. because it's all covered by these UMGs. That's probably one of the advantages of going for these UMG. Smurfblade now decides to go for Moabs, and I would go for BFBs and Moabs personally, because Moabs are stalled for 6 seconds, so it's not really gonna do anything. There are ceramics of the AI, there are a couple more, how do you call it, maulers on the field, and Tuttle is slowly selling them. You still have the balloon impacts, and I think Tuttle is purposely not going to sell them at this point, because they are able to break down the ceramic layers. You can see those Moabs are so bulky that they are hardly even broken down by Tuttle's towers. And at this point we can see the BFBs are also not going to make it to the end, so really the only thing Smurfblade can probably do is go for a lot of balloons, I think. Just sell, go for a lot of BFBs, go for Moabs, go for camo ceramics, maybe even camo pinks will get through. There's a couple of lives because they are very fast. If Tuttle accidentally forgot to... Oh, the balloons are getting pretty far. Those are the rainbows of the AI. And Tuttle, do you have even enough money to go for a couple more mortar stalls? The BFB of round 39 just came out, which means that we only have to go for 30 more seconds. And it's gonna be very close. We don't know when Tuttle's money is going to run out. I think he sold all of his towers. There's one rainbow off screen, so Tuttle has to stall and cannot see what he's actually doing and if he's doing it right. That BFB is taken down. Are the camo ceramics coming out? Because if the camo ceramics are only 6 more seconds, Tuttle, do you pay attention to Smurfblade's side? Because then you know the status. It looks like he actually didn't go for a Sabo. He needs to go for a Sabo, because otherwise the other camo ceramics, is Tuttle going to stall them out to round 40? Tuttle only has a little bit more money left. Go for a sabotage appliance. I would say the camo ceramics are pretty far the end. You can see on Smurfblade's side, he nearly defended all of the camo ceramics. He's going for mortar stall, and it looks like Tuttle, he's almost leaking to the camo pinks. Is it just in time for Smurfblade, or is it too late? It looks like that Tuttle defended. No, he defended them just before round 40 kicked in. So it would have been such an anti-climax if Tuttle leaked just before round 40 kicked in, because there was, that was way too close. Smurfblade actually instantly surrendered at round 40, but it could have gone either way. Like 2 seconds extra, and it might have been just that Smurfblade would have died. I mean, Tuttle would have actually leaked below Smurfblade's lives. So crazy game. The only thing Smurfblade should have done: start his rush earlier, sell your farm so there's not a gap, and then I think it would have been much better, because the round 37 CMGs didn't even really make it to the end, and so you really need to rely on round 35 CMGs, round 36, round 33 CMGs making it to the end, because Swamp is apparently a pretty long map. I probably underestimated how long that map is. So once again we can see that Tuttle is going for a balloon eco strat, and I think this one is crazy cool. The Nicotine used it. I think it's been meta for, not meta, but it's been used quite often in the old days of King of the Hill, and Tuttle is doing exactly what I'm expecting him to do, which is you go for a tech sprayer, a bomb, and a Seek and Shuriken. And that usually defends pretty fine. And on the other hand, Smurfblade's just going for the casual farm strat. I don't really think I have to elaborate on that. What you should be doing as eco player is, when the AI balloons are also interfering with your 2-1 ninja, then you should be layering blues with pink balloons, and otherwise you should just go for eco. Honestly, what I think is that Tuttle is going to go for around 400 eco, and then he's going to get up a, no, probably even lower though, and then he's going to get up a ring of that's not how it works. It's not how it works. Oh my god. Tuttle, you sold your wrong tower, mate. But to be fair, respect for how Tuttle actually recovered from that by getting his sprayer back up, then get up a double shot and that defends easily. And now he's going to harass Smurfblade, which I think is a really good decision because this is an awkward game. And if you were to go for a Ring of Fire next round, then yeah, he does actually go for a Ring of Fire and sold his double shot. And indeed, Smurfblade is going to punish that by going for region whites, and then okay, Smurfblade Tuttle actually harassed Smurfblade, which forced him to stop sending region whites, and that's actually one of the best plays I've ever seen. That's what I used to do a lot in Season 7. It's you don't want to go for the defense. What you want to do is you want to put pressure on your opponent when you are under pressure, so the pressure of your opponent goes away. That's some big brain decisions, and you can see Smurfblade still has crazy good farm eco for how crazy this game has been. And Tuttle really has some problems right now because he needs to get up his mortar as soon as possible, and he cannot afford to sell anything for that. Maybe his ninja bot, I don't think that's a good decision. Is he going to get it up in time? And Smurfblade is going for some weird counter rush. If he went for all in camo pings, then it would have worked. He's still got a decent amount of lives of Tuttle. And what's gonna happen now? What's gonna happen now? Because Tuttle doesn't have enough for a region rainbow rush, and it's gonna be a region rainbow rush. Tuttle is going for the counter rush. Is it gonna be enough for Tuttle? No, it's not gonna be enough for Tuttle. That's exactly what I just talked about. Unloading the pressure on your side and going for to put pressure on your opponent by going for some kind of counter rush, and that's actually, I mean, I honestly don't know why. No, just perfectly played by Tuttle. Like for how weird that game was, how much he was at a disadvantage by selling his wrong tower. I think that could have been the most clutched comeback of I've ever seen on the King of the Hill channel. Like it just no more words. Like Tuttle played it like a boss, and he really deserved to win that. I mean, I really granted Tuttle that game for how clutch his decisions were. I'm just simping for Tuttle for that in the post game. It was brilliant. And now we are playing on Ice Flow, which technically speaking is another late game map, just like Swamp. Tuttle being 2-1 down at this point. No, is he down 2-1? I think the score is 2-2. So this is gonna be our final map, and usually you like to see Indopools as sort of your final map because it's short and intense, and exactly what we just saw, that's what you want to see for your last map. But unfortunately we are not that lucky today, and we are going to see Ice Flow. And to be very fair, I think Ice Flow is still a really cool map, and it has one reason. That's because if you are really good at Ice Flow, you are able to put pressure on your opponent and force them to get up defense. So let's, for example, take round 4. If you're a really good rusher, you can force a lot of leaks on round 4. Your opponent also needs to be kind of bad and not know how to micro their boats or be fucking lazy, and both is actually me. So what I prefer to do is I prefer to go for a lot of harassment, put pressure on my opponent, force them to get up that third boat early, and then when you're going into round 6, start to harass as soon as possible with greens, so they need to get up that third grape shot before you need to do it. Because if you force them to get up the grape shot, they have $500 less they can spend on this sort of counter rush. It's counter eco, but technically also a sort of rush. And then you follow up with blacks, and you can still have a nice amount of lives, but the most important thing is that they need to spend their money on their defense before you need to upgrade your defense. And for round 8 you usually see that as well. You see that people send a lot of black balloons, and the person who then sends the yellow balloons first is going to force the opponent to usually upgrade their mortar. But obviously there's this perfect balance between sending enough black balloons, saving enough money for a huge yellow rush, and also be the first one to send it actually out. Because you can save up a lot of money, but if your opponent, for example, sends 2k yellows before you can even send out your 3k yellows, then you are still forced to get up your defense earlier than your opponent. And then you need to make the decision, am I going to go for the counter rush and tank the leaks, or am I actually going to go for, let's say, am I going to upgrade and take the fact that I lost this sort of samey battle? And it's not just round 8 with yellows, it can be round 10 with pinks, it can be round 11 with whites, it can be round 13, 14 and 15 with spaced rainbows. It can be anything, honestly, to put pressure on your opponent. So you need to be really clever, and there's a lot of detail involved. And that's why I love Ice Flow, because the second thing is, the person who has the most amount of eco is usually, if you have a huge lead, because you're rushed well, you usually have the upper hand. Late game we see a region rainbow rush by Smurfblade, and Tuttle sold one of his mortars. No, he sold one of his buccaneers and got up a ring of fire kind of easily. And Smurfblade's still up in the lives. It looks like he's over defending, and as you could have seen in the early game, you saw that Tuttle actually lost a lot of the battles on round 4. He got up the boat earlier, he got round 60 boat earlier, and then for round 8 they both got burning stuff kind of early. I think Smurfblade a bit earlier than Tuttle. And then on round 11 Smurfblade sent more eco, whereas Tuttle just didn't really send anything, and now Smurfblade sends a couple of spaced camo pinks, and that also has to get up 2 crow's nests, and I think one set of camo space pinks is $200, so it's kind of expensive and it usually doesn't really pay out. And now Tuttle is going for the counter space pinks, but Smurfblade does have bigger blast, so that's a real waste of money. And that's also one of the crazy aspects of Ice Flow. That's indeed trying to go for those clever rushes to get maybe that live advantage. So if you both have eco, then you will probably be the winner of the game. But if you send a rush which is not efficient at all, then your opponent can exploit it. And one of my favorite exploits in the pools is usually to go for a Moab and then follow it up eco. Because when you send a Moab, you're forcing your opponent to get more defense, to get up a a maelstrom, and they need to save up money, so they can't counter you while they are under attack, unless they obviously go for a counter and sell a lot of defense for the maelstrom and they go for some sort of counter. But usually that doesn't happen, so you can be greedy. But since this is an old school game, you can see that neither player is really going for that maelstrom, and they are going for buccaneer spam. And let's be fair though, they both have 3 Grape Shot Buccaneers and they only got 4 more. And I think that's less expensive than a Maelstrom. And this is also going to be helping them out quite a lot in the mid game. The only thing is they can't be greedy this way. So maybe if you get a couple of 0-0 Buccaneers, then yeah, you can still be greedy. You wasted 2k, but it's probably a bit more efficient for example around 20, because you can see that both players struggled a bit with the ceramic balloons. And this is gonna be an exploit by Smurfblade, and what Tuttle is going to do, he's going to get a crow's nest, he's going to go for a cannon ship, and that is enough to defend that rush, easy peasy. But that was also a lot of money to defend that. But I think it pays off, because that cannon ship can be upgraded to a hook down for around 23, and region rainbows and camel pinks are expensive. So Smurfblade is desperately trying to get up in lives. I'm not so sure why. I would personally go for the eco lead rather than the life lead, because this game is sort of awkward. So, well, that's actually exactly the reason why you need to focus on lives. Never mind. Ignore what I just said, because the person who probably now has the eco lead, or I mean life lead, is probably definitely going to be having an easier time defending and having the control in the late game. I'm not sure how late it is. Oh, it's already the time that I should honestly be moving on to my meeting with my friends. But this game is not over, and this has clearly my priority. So we will actually finish up this masterpiece. Yeah, Tuttle, he holds down a couple of boats in the bottom right corner. I usually love to put my Grapeshot Buccaneers there, and that has two reasons. First of all, they actually do a good amount of damage to Moabs. Second of all, they get rid of the ceramic layer kind of easily, which makes defending just a whole lot easier if you indeed break down your balloons earlier. It's the same concept as what I said on Mondrian, where if you break down your Moab and your ceramics earlier, then you can also your Ring of Fires will easier take care of the stuff. So this is really a Grapeshot spam. This was definitely one of the more fun eras to be in. I don't really think the second Ring of Fire is really necessary, because Smurfblade and Tuttle both have a lot of defense, and probably these Grapeshot Buccaneers are enough to defend. We can see that this Moab though does cause a lot of issues, and yeah, this is really where sprayers are going to show their superiority, because in general they do a lot of damage, and also at the front of the map, because a lot of the Buccaneers are placed more towards the end of the map, and that's going to cause them to be very inefficient. You can see ceramics are actually taken care of quite easily, but Tuttle is going to not leak, and Smurfblade is going to pull out a Maelstrom, and that was not enough actually. Smurfblade being too late on that Maelstrom, dying to AI for the second time in this series. An unfortunate, once again, an AI death, or a pathetic death on the last game, but overall, really enjoyable series. I hope you've enjoyed watching this series. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. I try to upload one series every Saturday evening. I think between 1 and 2 a.m. Dutch time, 7 and 8 p.m. What's called EST. So stay tuned, and I hope to see you all in the next one.